What's up, what's up? It's time for Done Way Past Funny with your host, G.D. Fenderson. Join us as we take a look back at the early works of seasoned comedians before they were seasoned with this week's guest, Epic! It's time to get down and get dope with Done Way Past Funny. Hi, I'm G.D. Fenderson, certified forensic humorist and host of Done Way Past Funny. Thank you for joining us as we continue our interview with Epic. Enjoy. Now, so I'm going to play the part of from episode 137 when I was being interviewed by you.
Okay.
And we'll see. I can't remember which one it is. We'll see.
Can I say something a little off script? Can I say
go
something
ahead.
just
No,
a little?
you're fine.
Well, actually, there is no script. Ashley, happy birthday! Well, belated birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday,
Thank you.
Ashley.
Yep.
I did not know that it was your birthday, so this is a little late, but I wrote you a poem.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And it goes like this. If I knew it was your birthday, I would have gotten you nuggets. But now it's on my calendar, so next year I don't forget.
That's so silly. Oh my god. Thank you. That was great. I
Yeah.
don't think anyone's ever wrote me a poem before. That's so nice.
So I hope that is one of the better birthday poems you've received for your
That's
birthday.
like the only birthday poem I've ever received.
Yeah. He wanted to make sure that what he put in the poem, not many people would know you liked. So I said, well, we had nuggets
Nuggets today. I don't know.
Yeah, so
that's how it came to be.
There we go.
Yep.
It works out.
So that was our deep thought process on
Yeah,
this.
you guys had a lot of mind
I fed the
stuff.
bitch.
That's like real, really
She likes to
eat. Shit. So
And also, I do know about purple and giraffes, but those two are really hard to rhyme.
Yeah.
So,
I get that. Yeah.
nuggets. You got nuggets.
You got nuggets. I like
That was
nuggets.
kind of hard too, though. I mean, the best you could come up with was "fuck it," which almost sounds like
Well-
"fuck it."
Yeah, that was the. When I had that word in my head, I thought, you could use that word several different ways. So let's just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Leave
great.
since it's her poem, she gets to decide how it's used.
Let your
Yeah.
imagination
That's right.
roam.
I enjoyed
Yep.
the poem. It's very nice. I'm gonna get that
the magic
put up
of
on my-
poetry.
Get all that printed. To get that whole thing printed out and put it on my wall.
And I'm disappointed that Jay is not there. Is he going to have a segment today,
No, he didn't. He wasn't able to make it.
Yeah, we're waiting on a medical release from his doctor.
Yeah.
Oh, chlamydia. Damn.
Damn. We talked about this.
Yeah, but he is listening though, as far as I know.
Maybe.
I hope.
He usually is.
Possibly. Maybe he just said.
Why did you have something to say to him?
Maybe.
Oh no! Well, I was going to Jay. I just I know you're the sports guy, and I had a sports question for you. Basically, you have Shaquille O'Neal, Dikembe Mutombo, 101 in a tickle fight. Who do you think would win?
That's the kind
my
of
money.
we want right there.
I know, and see,
Yes.
Jay misses out on this all the time.
Yes, yeah. And my money is on Dikembe because he has those long, thin fingers, and he could tickle Shaquille in places that other people can't reach.
That's right.
But
Yeah.
But I'm sure
so
Jay would
I'm sorry
disagree. He'd be like, because
and that's why I wanted to have that debate. That's why I
will
wanted to
take
have
you
that
to
debate
the
with Jay.
paint.
So
He's a dominant
that's
force
why
in the tickle community. What?
So Jay, I'm sorry you missed it because I really wanted to debate you on that point. I've been boning up on my facts, unlike you, for almost a whole night. So
Oh.
That's
man.
pretty funny. Who would you say your comedic influences are?
That was a good while back.
It
Episode
was.
one.
I mean, I was probably what, 60 pounds heavier then.
I don't know, because at that point you were only shooting yourself from the neck up, from the nipples up.
See,
Yeah,
though, I
yeah,
could see by the face.
yeah. So, and the voices that you heard were Ashley and Chris.
Chris, yeah. And we
Yeah.
were talking about Jay, and Jay, he's been a friend of mine since like forever, and we were actually in a rap group together. So he's a musician as well. He can sing and rap, and it kind of same thing with him. Like he took a step away from music, and he used to play like semi-pro football, and he's always been a football fan and always spewing out all these facts and stuff to me. I'm like, dude, you would be great, like as like a sportscaster, like. So, but I fuck with him so much.
You did.
I did. I still do. And so when I came up with his segment, I wanted it to make it the most ridiculous name for it, to where he almost didn't want to do it. And so we called it Playing with Balls. Because, like I think when I was coming up with the name, I was Googling like a funny sports segment thing, and I happened to look in Reddit and asked the question in Reddit, and somebody replied, "Playing with balls," and I thought.
So what's Jay's last name? Because you say he did rap, or he's still doing it, or is he back?
He his last name, well, he went by Jay Val on the show, but his last name's Roush.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I end up losing like 55 pounds.
See, I thought you was gonna say you end up losing a lot of money betting the way he told you to bet.
No.
Betting on sports.
It's just I was thinking about that clip and thinking about like how far I've come with that too.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's funny because that's why we have video, just to you can say, oh, I remember when I was.
Yeah, when I was a fatty. Yeah.
And see, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say you took up more place on the screen.
Well, after I quit music, I picked up eating very heavily.
Okay.
So, well, no, actually what kind of started it was my wife getting pregnant, and she could eat like a horse and not gain any weight, and I would eat the same amount and just gain everything. Yeah, and then once you get the weight on, it's really hard to get it off. So it took me forever to get that off, but I did eventually. I'm still working on it. I'm not quite where I want to be yet, but
I thought you was going to tell me that back when you rap, the mic was there, so you couldn't get the food there. And once you stopped,
I mean that could have been part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because once you moved, this block half the time.
I was a pretty physical performer. Like I interacted a lot with the crowd and was all over the place on stage. So I mean, there was that exercise too, to be honest with you, like because you're under all these hot lights and like even by the end of the show, I'd be drenched in sweat, and it was definitely a good workout.
Now, in the clip that you played for your music, first of all, that the image of the individual under hoodie, was that you?
No, it was just a clip I found. I was just doing I was just putting together like a little random video just to put on social media and stuff. So I didn't put a whole lot of time in it, but I do like I am planning on shooting an actual video for it.
Okay.
That's that's going to be my first single out.
Well, if you need an old black guy with graying dreads to play a particular part, maybe, I mean, it doesn't have to be typecasting. I mean, if you want to use me, I mean, I will, I don't have to play a black guy. I could actually play a white guy who
I mean,
identifies.
I thought, like you would identify more with like the Asian community.
When I've been drinking, my eyes do go that route.
Yeah.
Yes.
Same. I mean, I'm in a perpetual state of like almost going to sleep, so my
yeah.
eyes are pretty slanted there.
I've had friends of mine who are Asian tell me, "Oh man, your eye." In fact, I had one guy. He gave me a picture of another Asian guy. He goes, "The two of you could be twins," and I still have that picture to this day. It's it's in one of my booklets. But it's just so funny that an Asian guy thought that I looked that Asian, that he could find another Asian guy that I look like. It's like, and usually within your own races, you can tell the differences. But this guy was like, no, you're one of us.
Who knows, man? You know how it's crazy, like looking at like like where you come from and all that. I have so many different races. Like I'm pretty confident that I'm the product of just one big orgy from multiple countries.
Something like what's it? Caligula would have had like you're like a love child for one of Caligula's orgies.
Something like that. But yeah, you never know kind of what's in their background until you get like one of them tests or whatever, like the genealogy test or.
Now, why Epic? When did you become? Because you and I both know each other's real names, but
so
but we call each other. It's funny that we still call each other by our stage names, even though we're like off the stage. It's like, what's up, Epic? What's up, GD?
It's like that though. That's kind of how you're introduced to people, and you kind of stick with that, So
yeah,
I have friends and even family that just calls me Epic. They don't call me like Tom or anything. Yeah.
What about the kids? They call you Dad
They
or
call me
Epic?
Dad, yeah.
Yeah. It depends if they want money.
Yeah,
or
right. At work they call me Tommy G because they know I'm a rapper and stuff.
But they don't know your rap name isn't Tommy G.
Oh, okay. More out of jest, it's funny. I like it.
So how did Epic become the name?
When I first started rapping, my name was actually Delinquent.
Okay. Because you couldn't make any money and your bills were late all the time?
I just didn't feel like that was a very good definition of who I was.
Right.
And I was in a group called Division 3, and for a long time, that's where I did most of my made most of my music, and we did the most shows with when I was in that group. And I remember back then, Epic wasn't really being used all like that. It wasn't like you hardly ever heard Epic. The only time I've really heard an Epic was when I was in school and we were, like reading like Homer or something like that.
Right.
So I was looking around, just kind of trying to figure out what my name was going to be, and I came across Epic, and the definition was a long narrative poem. And I'm like, well, rap is kind of like a poem, and I'm telling stories in my rap, so that makes the narrative part. So I figured it was kind of like a different way to describe what I was doing. And then as a side benefit of that, let me see if I can write it and show you. So there's a special way that I sign it which is not going to be like that because I'm just doing it post it. So you have Epic, right?
Okay.
Right. But if you turn it upside down, and it's I have my camera mirrored, but
Yeah, that's what I'm
yeah, but it says D3.
Okay,
And
back from when.
yeah, and
Okay,
so my group name's Division 3. We would call ourselves D3. So it was kind of like it was a combination of both. One, it was kind of cool that I could do that and it worked like that. That you could see D3 in my name if you just turned it
right,
upside down, and then it described um, what I did as a rapper. I told long narrative raps. You know what I mean? So
oh yeah, yeah,
and that's why I landed on that name. And then after that, it took on this whole person, other meaning of being like special or like grand, and that worked as well.
So how does it? How do you prepare to become epic on, like, if you were to do a show, let's say tonight, you're doing a show tonight. What do you have to do to go from being Tom to being epic?
It's weird. As soon as I hit the stage, I'm epic, and it's like a switch. I can't really describe it. It just flips automatically. Um, so you get the wild, crazy kind of side of myself, and then when I'm off stage, like immediately I revert back, and I'm like the same guy you talked to before. I had a um I had a promoter who dropped off like tickets to me once, and he said, this is the first time he ever seen me off stage, and
Hmm.
thought like, he was kind of taken back that I was such a regular guy because my persona on stage is so different.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's just, it's just part of entertainment. Like you want people to see you a certain light in a certain light when you're on stage, and then um like if I was epic 24/7, I'd be completely exhausted. Like there's no way.
Yeah.
There was a time in my life where I felt like I was more epic than Thomas though. Um and I was like partying like super hard all the time, and um just doing all these crazy things, and um I'm trying to think of anything. So I'll tell you a quick story of an epic moment in regular life.
Okay.
So, especially when I would get, drunk. And here's another thing too. I never drank or did drugs or anything before a performance or
Right.
during. Like
Right.
I'd always wait till after, because even when I had my drug problems or whatever, I didn't want that to reflect in my performance, because it completely affects you. I already
Right.
kind of have a slur at sometimes. I have to really focus on what I'm saying. Um,
Right.
and when I'm drinking, that all goes out the window. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so and so I never wanted that to affect my performance. But immediately after, like I would just start taking shots after shots and pills or whatever I was into at the time, and we would just do like crazy shit in the middle of the night. So there was this one particular night, um, and there was times I toured and did other things, but when I was home and I was mostly doing local shows and stuff like that, I always had a job. And at the time, I was a manager for McDonald's.
Right.
And so after the show, we drank, we were all fucked up, and we go to the McDonald's in the drive-thru, the one that I actually managed, because I knew I could get a discount there. And
Right.
because sometimes these shows, like people think like, oh, you're making so much money off these shows and stuff, and it's like, no, no, not especially not in the beginning. Um, and I don't know exactly how it works for comedians, but I'm sure it's very similar to where like they give you tickets, they tell you the amount, and then you get a percentage of the tickets you sell, and then the promoter gets the rest of it. You know what I mean? So there was times where we would sell, 200-300 tickets, but there's like 3 of us in the group. So we had to split that 3 ways. Sometimes we were only getting like $100-$200. Split 3 ways wasn't much at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, we would go and get something to eat afterwards and hang out and whatever. So we went to this McDonald's. It was late, and Jay and there was Joe with us and a couple of other carloads of people with us. We had our little entourage, and so my brother, that's who I call Jay because I've known him so long, and we've been through so much shit that we actually consider each other brothers. But he gets out and he goes to take a piss next to this dumpster. Well, this guy yells out, "Hey, my girlfriend's in the car." And he responds back, "I know. Does she want to hold it for me?" So they had a few people in their car. We had some people in ours. They jump out. We jump out. And it's a big brawl in this McDonald's parking lot. Now, mind you, I'm completely obliterated. I don't know.
And this is also the McDonald's where you
And it's
manage.
the McDonald's where I work. So I'm but I don't care because it's my brother. I'm gonna help him, whatever. So I go out, and I just start fighting. I don't even know who the fuck I'm fighting, but I start fighting. To the point where okay, so the guy who gets out of the car and my brother, they're both wearing these leather jackets, right? They're very similar. So there was a point where Jay gets on the ground, and I run over and I start stomping Jay. And I'm like, "You don't ever touch my brother!" And he's like, "It's me, it's me, it's me." I'm like, "Oh shit!" And I run away from him and I start hitting the other guy. Yeah, it was so. So after it all got done, we all go back to our cars. I pick up my food. The other manager's there. She's like, "What the hell just happened?" And I said, "You don't want to know." She's like, "Okay, well, just to let you know, you need to get out of here soon because the cops are coming."
Yeah.
It was never brought up after that though. Like from work,
The-
anyways.
how does Ashley interact with the epic persona as opposed to the husband that she loves so much, the man that she married?
So, we'll go back to like the beginning of our relationship a little bit. So, um, Ashley's not a fan of rap.
Okay.
So that was already something that intrigued me. She actually does like my music though. Um, and she's gotten into it since I've been around her, so she does listen to some now where she didn't previously.
Right.
I also listen to music that I wouldn't have normally listened to. It's like that when you're in a relationship, you start
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
interested in other things they're doing. Even
Yeah.
with the show. So as I said before, she was not on board to begin with, but
Mm-hmm.
when Goldie started taking a step back, she would come in and kind of take over for her a little bit, just as a special guest, and
Right.
she actually ended up enjoying it. So that's how that kind of thing. Now interacting with me, there's only a little bit of a difference between Epic and Thomas. So the main thing that's different is like I think Epic doesn't care as much, like just in general, where Thomas does.
Right.
And so, like when I'm on the show and I'm having kind of like that Epic persona, she doesn't take it personally. Like,
Right.
because I'll fuck with her, I fuck with everybody.
Yeah.
Once we're off air and stuff, it's like it's different, you know. Like I kind of go back to myself, and it's like, okay, whatever, you know. But I always have that kind of dark comedy and stuff, and she does too. That's why we get along well.
Yes, yeah,
Um, she's very funny too. Like I told her she could probably do a show on her own,
yeah.
but
She could.
she yeah, she doesn't have that much confidence in herself though.
uh, now I've gone through the questions that I wanted to ask. Is there anything that you want to bring up or mention, or any causes that you want to promote? Uh,
No, not
you,
not really. The only thing I'll say is, you know, I have the album coming out. It's called The Church of Epic. I plan on releasing it this fall sometime. With my schedule from work and stuff like that, because I started a job about a year ago, where I actually teach adults. I'm kind of a teacher now, and I teach adults financial systems for a company called Genesis Financial Solutions, uh, and we I train them that stuff. So, unfortunately, that takes a lot of my time. So on the weekends, or like if I'm not too wore out after work, I'll work on more songs. Oh, I do want to mention the girl singing in that song,
Kayla.
Kayla. So she is actually one of the founding members of Division Three's daughter. She can sing and rap. She's very good. And I was talking to her one day. She's like my oldest daughter's age. She's I think she's 20. And you know, I heard her sing. She had did she asked me one day if I could record her on a song that somebody else did, right? So
Right.
I got the song, I recorded her. I was like, man, you're really good. I'm like, you know, I'm thinking about working on this album, and like I think you should be a part of it. And she was like, oh yeah, like I'll do that. So that was actually my first single. That was the first song I worked on for the album, and going to be my first single. And she absolutely killed it. Um, she has such a soulful voice and stuff. And so yeah, I wanted to promote that too. I wanted to promote her a little bit. She obviously learned a lot from us being around that whole time around music and stuff. And she, you
Yeah.
know, and also my daughter, my 17-year-old, she's making an appearance on the album too. Yeah,
Cool.
so, and then I have a couple features from a past member of Division Three, Corey Hagwood, who goes by Codeine, and then I have another artist who's from Missouri, and he's on a few tracks of mine too. So
Cool.
I have some feature artists from. Uh, I've been including people that one I have a relationship with of some kind, either family or other, and personal friends that music,
Right.
you know, to try to kind of get them out too.
Now, who? Because I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you who your influences.
Uh, so one of the first,
Other than me, I know you feel obligated to mention me because
yeah,
I'm being a
that's
musician.
obvious,
I'm sure.
obviously,
Yeah, I'm sure
yeah,
you were
I'm sure
influenced
that's
by
a
my
no-brainer.
CD. Yeah, I'm sure you were influenced by my CD. But it's just, but who are your other influences?
So one of the first tracks that I ever rapped on. So maybe this kind of tells my age a little bit, but back in the day, you could get like cassettes or like CDs, and they would have like the instrumental. Like you buy these singles, and like you flip it to the B side, and it was usually the instrumental or maybe another track or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, so I used to get them a lot as a kid. Um, and so one of the first songs I ever recorded a song on was LL Cool J's "Hey Lover," and I always loved LL Cool J. Obviously, Eminem became an influence later on. Nas, um, Jay-Z. I mean, all the ones that I feel like a lot of rappers would. Tupac at some point, I really enjoyed Tupac's music and Biggie, but I have such a big playlist. Like I really dig NF right now and what he's doing. I like the fact that he's able to do what he does and not cuss in a way. Like I kind of wish I didn't have such a potty mouth all the time, but it's also me. You know what I mean? I don't want to change myself too much. Uh, Trying to think if there's anybody else. Uh, I mean, obviously, the people I've worked with in the past too, they would influence me, in a way too, because like I worked with some really talented artists, and I would, just like comedy, you pick their brain, kind of, figure out their processes. Everybody writes a little different.
Right.
Uh, Everybody has a different perspective on life and how they come up with their music. I pull a lot of my stuff from personal life. So I talk about myself and things I'm going through a lot, and sometimes it's happy, sometimes it's not. Uh, but that's life. Sometimes there's ups and downs, and I'll have a fun track and a couple songs. I will say though, one of the reasons why I'm releasing this album when I'm releasing it, it's definitely not a summer release.
Right.
You're not gonna hear a lot of club bangers or like party songs. I want to kind of dive deep into like where my life has been, and since the time I've done my last uh since the last time I did music, and kind of where I plan on going, and then kind of using uh religion as kind of that metaphor,
Right.
you know, because there's a lot of things like I kind of feel like I'm resurrecting, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
epic from, and so I'm using a lot of, so like even the titles of the songs, a lot of them have some sort of Bible reference. So like I have a song called Judas. I have a song called Walk on Water, and Walk on Water features my daughter on it, and she did an amazing job on it. I haven't finished writing it yet, so I haven't recorded anything. But that's more like Walk on Water is actually a relationship song, and it's
Okay.
talking about like how when you first meet somebody, especially like a significant other, how like that person is almost like a god to you. Like you can't picture them doing anything wrong. Like they walk on water, right? And then you
Right.
start going in and getting to know them, and you start seeing all these things that kind of contradict that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm exploring that in that song. So a lot of my music have deeper meanings behind it.
Cool. Now, for people who want to stalk you on social media, what's their best?
So
And is your music also what you
oh
have
oh
out there?
oh
Is that
so
out there?
yeah. So what I now we used to have a lot of our music on Dat Piff. Dat Piff is actually uh not really doing that anymore. Like so that was a big source of where you could find a lot of our music. But there are some stuff on YouTube, SoundCloud, stuff like that. Um, on social media, I'm converting a lot of the old show social
Right.
medias um, to my artist page. So I do have an Epic artist page. I also have Instagram, you can even reach out on my personal Facebook at this point. Like I'm not really on social media as much as I used to be. That was one thing after the show too. I took a step back from social media, but
Okay.
I'm starting to get back into it now. So I do plan on having a website, and the music will be on every streaming platform you can think of and download. So it's like Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, like everything.
Now, this is, I guess, because you spent so much time with your website from the Epic Radio Show. Is that why you don't have your own website now? It's like, I'm tired of maintaining a website.
No,
because that was a lot of work. What you did
it was a lot of work. But no, I when I was doing the show, I focused on the show. I didn't really focus on the rap side of it anymore. So actually, I had an artist page then, and I actually shut it down back then, just because I didn't think I was going to come back to it. But the thing about music and even like comedy, right, is once it's in your blood, it's kind of there. Like you can't really get rid of it. It's always in the back of your head, like, oh, like I really enjoy doing it. And that's really what brought me back to it. I'm going to release it. I'm going to do all that, but I'm not really that concerned on how well it does. I figure I just want to make something very genuine, something that people can relate to. And if it helps people in some way or another, maybe have a different perspective on like mental health or like just life in general, then that's really what I want to do. I don't want to. I'm not out here to pursue it as far as like I don't necessarily want to go back on tour or anything unless they really offer me a decent contract for that. But I'm 40 now. I don't know if I want to go out and have them late nights, and because that was one of the things too. Like when you're an artist, especially in rap or even comedy, I mean, they tend to be later nights.
Yeah.
Like you're out there. They don't have these shows in the afternoon. They have them at like 9-10 o'clock at night. And when you're the opening act, or if you're the headlining, most of the time we were headlining towards the end. So we were the last act. Sometimes that was 11:30, midnight, and we wouldn't get home till 2. And I'm just to the point where I don't want to be out that late anymore.
Right.
So like I said, if it came down to it and they offered me, a touring deal and there was a decent amount of money involved, I would think about it. I guess the album would have to do really good at that point, but I don't really know. I have no expectations, and I just want to do it because I enjoy doing it.
That's cool. That's matter of fact, I guess that's the only reason, as far as I'm concerned, that's the only reason to do art is when
exactly. Yeah, I feel like there was a point where I was trying to be famous or like get to that level, and I started making sacrifices in my music to try to get it more commercial. And not saying I didn't fail or anything, but I didn't feel like it was very, like I felt very fake about it. Like I felt like it wasn't me. It wasn't like what I would have normally wrote. So I wanted to, if this is going to be my last album, I don't know, but I wanted it to be really from the heart and really talk about real things in a way that was a little different this time ago.
Yeah, that's cool. So I want to thank you for doing this with me.
Oh, absolutely. I'm really happy to have been able to do this. I thank you so much.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.